world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Football Smack Talk Show. I am your host, Ryan.
I'm Eric.
Welcome in, everybody, to a long off season. But good news, we'll be here every step of the way, every week.
Absolutely.
Talking free agency, talking a little draft. Now, if any of you were watching Birds of the Round Table, David and I were just, talking about some Eagles free agents, which we'll continue to talk about here. But we wanted to let you know last night, and I'll reiterate right now, our draft coverage on the Eagles Pinball Network is going to be insane. So not only will our shows focus on draft coverage, Birds of the Round Tables will kind of switch to a very draft centric, kind of like an armchair scouts. So, kind of taking over for that. Chalk Talk with Shane and Mark will focus more NFL draft wise. We'll be coming out with some short little player profiles on our YouTube and our other socials. So please stay locked in, as we're going to be bringing you probably 200 player profiles over the next couple of months.
Wow. Yeah.
Plus some mock drafts, some rankings, some whatever else you want. We'll basically have it all with draft coverage. A little G, what's going on? Eagles keep AJ Brown. Yeah, you know what?
I agree. They will.
Well, I'm not even going to kind of address it. I think it's ridiculous that the media is pushing this content. I forget the guy's name. That's how insignificant he is.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It said AJ Brown requested 3 trades throughout the seasons. Well, listen, how many times are you going to come out and say something that gets ultimately proven to be incorrect? So your credibility to me and to the fans, to the readers, to the listeners, however they, interact with you, it's got to be at an all-time low. So to say something outlandish, it's desperation, in my opinion.
I just don't understand why anybody would give any credence to anything he has to say.
The only way AJ Brown gets traded is if Howie just gets an insane offer.
Right.
Like, hey, here's a really good wide receiver and some picks and, whatever.
Right.
It just, I don't see anybody doing that. And yeah, it would be ridiculous to trade away pretty much your best offensive weapon when your window, you don't know how long your window's open.
Right.
And Howie's usually in the mindset of adding superstars, not trading them away. So anyway, that's it for that. Yeah, the new OC, even from yesterday, the OC search certainly has changed, or at least the mindset.
Right.
A lot of people were pretty high on somebody like Mike McDaniel, who now apparently is going to be the Chargers OC.
Yeah.
Now people certainly
stand the lure there with Herbert and a lot of those weapons there.
Apparently it's not even that. His wife is from the LA area, so.
Yeah, I mean, just look, me and you grew up here. We love it here, but like if somebody said to you, "Hey, do you want to live in Philadelphia where it's cold? Like, I mean, the weather out right now, or do you want to live in Los Angeles?" Like,
yeah, I mean,
deuces.
Wow, you son of a bitch! Look at you traitorous whore.
I'm just being honest with you. Like, if it's not about team loyalty, because, I mean, why would Mike McDaniels be loyal to the Eagles? Like, I'm just saying, like, if it's just the 2 cities, like, which one are you choosing? Like, come on,
Sure.
I love it here, but,
I got that.
I
You
didn't
just
grow
go
up
on
here.
location versus location and have zero tie to either of them. I got
Right.
that.
Yeah.
But so anyway, Brian Dable then kind of became the name, and now there's reports saying that he's really, really after the Bills head coach job. And if for whatever reason he doesn't get that, the Titans OC or, there's apparently all these other. I'm like, okay, that, great. You interviewed Mike Kafka, which I have zero interest in. You
Sure.
interviewed with Jim Bob Cooter, which I have zero interest in.
The name's kind of funny, but yeah,
Sure,
aside from that, yeah.
fantastic. But somebody like a Joe Brady, somebody perhaps from the collegiate level, Charlie Weiss Jr.,
Sure.
somebody that moves the needle a little bit. But again, I still need somebody with some experience. I don't
Right.
want to just
Somebody who's called an NFL
right.
play.
I don't want to get the passing game coordinator from blah 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 who's never been an OC
Right.
anywhere and has never called plays. I want that, but the names are dwindling right now. And what we thought the Eagles once had, one of the best openings, one of the most coveted jobs, with all of there were 10 head coach positions. I think that ended up kind of screwing us because
Yeah.
now people are going for head coach jobs and then, they're cleaning house. That means their OC is open. And, so unfortunately, it just hasn't materialized the way we hoped. Now, again, stranger things certainly have happened. It's not over and whatnot, but I have a bad feeling the Eagles are going to settle so that they can make a decision sooner than later. So that way they can get on with their offseason.
Yeah, and I don't want to see that. I'd rather just go get your guy, whoever your guy. Like, go get him, however long that takes. But yeah, I agree with you. I do think there's gonna come a point here in the next week or two where they're gonna say, "All right, we need somebody. Like, go get this guy who's never called an NFL play, but he's been like a quarterback coach in a successful offense."
Yeah. It's
And that's discouraging. You just gotta hope they hit on it. Like,
yeah.
and that's a lottery. That's a lottery ticket as opposed to like when you're going out there and you're getting somebody who, like you said, he's called plays. Like when you got Kellen Moore 2 years ago, that was a smart hire, knowing this is a guy who's called plays. He's run two different offenses and two different schemes, and was successful in both. And so you had a track record to build off of with him, and he had some clout walking into that room, knowing he knew how to call play. He knew when that play had to be into the huddle, when that when that they needed to break the huddle. So it was, one of those things more is lost by indecision than wrong decision. And I think that Kellen Moore was smart to that. Like, he knew, like, okay, call the play and at least
Sure.
get him to the line with enough time to adjust if he needs to.
What I will say, looking back, hindsight being what it is, it seems like Kellen Moore kind of stupidly took the head coach job last year.
I think he did.
I mean,
Look,
listen, I get
if
it.
he had held out a year, I mean, he could have Buffalo, Baltimore,
Right. If
or
he would have
yeah,
stayed, we could have had another Super Bowl run.
yeah,
I mean, if that offense was even 90%, they were going to the Super Bowl.
yeah, 100%, yeah.
And, you do that, then you have all of these, Ravens, Bills, Steelers, whoever the heck
Yeah,
you
right. If
want.
everything goes the way it still went, and you had Kellen Moore here, he'd have had his pick of any of those
Probably,
spots.
especially after 2 years of Super Bowl runs.
Yeah. Look, and I think there was something to it, like, that's why Ben Johnson, I feel like he was smart in holding out a year before going to Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, well,
I mean, it certainly seemed to have worked out for him. I mean, he got to a divisional round as a head coach in his first year.
sure, sure. Yeah,
Yeah, but to me, I think Ben Johnson is that architect of that type that you were just talking about, Kellen Moore. He could have had his pick of, okay, so you got to go down there and Coach Tyler show, or you could have held out and you could have had Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson.
Sex, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that is what it is, unfortunately. So
I
yeah,
mean, are we
cool.
basically just looking at hiring the guy who's gonna fill the role for a year before Kellen Moore gets fired in New Orleans and we can bring him back here?
I mean, I wouldn't hate it, but I highly doubt that's the way it'll work out because
Well,
you know
and
that
you don't wanna hire a guy just hoping that you can fire him to get somebody else in.
it's usually pretty bad.
Yeah.
So, obviously, as things come up, stay tuned to the Eagles Pinball Network as we will react immediately once the Eagles have an OC hire. Somebody from the network will pop on. It's what we're trying to do this offseason as things happen. Free agency is in about less than a month and a half, actually.
Yeah.
The Eagles have 20 of their own players. 20.
That's a lot of pending free agents.
A lot of pending free agents. Granted, 80% of them are just dudes that you're like, yeah, I mean,
Deuces. Yeah.
like, all right, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if you stayed.
Right.
But you have some significant names. Alice Goddard,
Yeah.
Blankenship,
Yeah.
Kobe Dean, Jalen Phillips. You have some offensive line, Brett Toth, Fred Johnson, who are absolutely so important.
I would argue that
That's
those are two of the guys that really helped this offense stay at all on track this season.
Yeah. Jahan Dotson.
Yeah. I kinda had it with his magic act. He really likes to disappear.
Yeah. Can along with Dallas Goddard, Kylan Granson, Grant Calcaterra. No
Yeah, like we talked about last week, there are no tight ends
or no tight end.
currently under contract.
That's why I wouldn't hate bringing Dallas Goddard back on a 1 year. If the
Mhm.
money's right, again, um, it really would depend on obviously, what he's seeing out there because he's coming off of a great year. But
Right.
you theoretically you have free agents in the tight end market, Travis Kelce, which you assume will probably retire or just sign 1 year.
Yeah.
David Njoku, Taysom Hill, Tyler Higbee, Kyle Pitts, our good buddy Zach Ertz, Austin Hooper, Tyler Conklin, Noah Fant, Mo Alley Cox, Darren Waller. So there's Robert Tunyon. There's definitely Mercedes Lewis, his old ass.
Wow, he's still playing.
Yeah. Cade Otton, Daniel Bellinger, Chig Okonkwo.
That's just a fun name to say.
Really is. Isaiah Likely to believe in.
Yeah. Well, and you gotta believe, as much as I'm sure the Ravens would love to keep him, that it's a numbers game there in Baltimore. Like,
I mean,
they've
you
had
just
Mark
resigned.
Andrews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I assume they're not going to be wanting to spend that much money on tight
Right.
position. But yeah, it's so there are certainly some names. If we do not go the Dallas Goedert route, there's certainly some draft picks. If we're going to go first round, Sadiq from Oregon is a really, really good player. Really do like him. But there's some, second rounder guys, third rounder guys.
Do you think there's a chance Sadiq's there at 22?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. There's definitely a chance. I think, I wouldn't hate the idea of trading up a little bit and grabbing one of those corners, whether it be
Love that.
McCoy from Tennessee or I highly doubt the LSU guy falls. He's just
Feel like just insert a year and you could say that about an LSU DB.
yeah, I mean you're not wrong. But yeah, but then again, you can think about doing the Lane Johnson replacement. Is this the year they finally do it? I would assume so.
Yeah, and look, there's a lot of picks that they could use. It doesn't have to be a first round pick.
No.
Ideally, if he's there, if you have a guy and you like him to be your starter when Lane Johnson's gone, you're probably looking at 22 and thinking that might be where we pull the trigger on it.
Yeah, I mean, You never know. I mean, Caden Proctor from Alabama
Mhm.
is a good tackle. Caleb Lomu from Utah. I mean, God, if somehow Francis Mauioga, however you pronounce his name, from Miami, he's a dude I would absolutely trade up for. Spencer
Right.
Fanu, another tackle from Utah. I'm okay with trading up for those guys,
Mhm.
but more than likely you have Gerard McCoy, corner from Tennessee, as I said, Mansour Delaney, corner from LSU, Avion Terrell, Clemson corner. Those are three guys I would love to certainly have. I mean, you imagine you grab one of those guys,
Yeah, and you
and
got
now
Q on the other side.
you have
Yeah.
CB1 locked, CB2 locked. Slot, lock.
Yeah. And,
Now
that was one of the things back in the heyday, with Andy Reid,
yeah,
with
but
you know
it was only ever 2.
yeah.
It was always 2 and then, like, some rando, like
Right, would be the
Boykin,
3rd. Yeah.
as a slot guy that the 1 year had, like, 6 interceptions, you know?
And everyone's like, "Oh, Brandon Boykin can play. Oh, look at this
Yeah.
guy."
"Oh, he's 5'2". "Oh, he's great." Yeah, well, that was it.
My favorite player, yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, they would never have had a 1-2-3 combo like this. Now,
Right.
all you would then need to do I feel like if you were to re-sign Reed, or again, maybe I don't know
Right.
who might be out there. Like let me take a look. Mm, you have old Jimmy Ward, you have former
My
Eagle
cousin, yeah.
Kevin Byard, Cameron Curl, who I do not hate. You have Jalen Thompson from Arizona, Kyle Duggar from Pittsburgh. Um, yeah, there's not a lot. And unless I'm missing somebody that's, like, coming off of a cheap deal.
Right.
Kobe Bryant from Seattle, not doing terrible this year. But either way, yeah, you have, your boy from Texas, you have Reed, and then you have those 3
Right.
corners. Your whole secondary is good.
Oh, absolutely. I would agree with that, and
And considering
that
this
is
is also
quite an area to lock down.
right, and considering also your linebackers are the best linebackers we've had in decades, even
Yeah,
with most likely losing Nakobe Dean because, again, injury and
sure.
whatever, everything else is probably again, you just don't spend the draft capital on a top guy and then, have him on the bench. But hey, stranger things, I would love to keep Nakobe Dean. I
Sure.
love Nakobe Dean. We've loved him since the second I wanted to draft him in the first, in the second, and then eventually in the third.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, we all knew they weren't taking him in the first round, but
well,
then in the second round, I
eh,
remember you and I texting quite a bit saying, "Oh, this has gotta be a Dean spot."
yeah,
And then it's like and then they didn't, and then it was like, 3rd round? What is it, the 4th round he got taken?
no, third.
Okay.
So then you could focus on your front. You already have a pretty good trio in D tackles. You have Nolan Smith, who I think was still kind of dealing with some stuff. You have Jalen Hunt, who I thought had a great year. If you can bring back Jalen Phillips, boom.
I mean, essentially, your defense would kinda be
You get rid
set.
of the
Yeah.
Uches and the Ojularis and the Agbangbo Arankanko, and maybe you add somebody in the 3rd or 4th round. There's plenty of dudes, to be honest. Trying to think of again, it's so early, so things certainly can change. But I've seen like Kamara from Indiana edge there. But think about we have what, the 68th pick, so that certainly could be a spot, for an edge guy. Maybe that's a spot for tight end if you miss on Sadiq. Your boy Jack Endries
Yeah, I like him a lot. Yeah.
certainly in the mix there. So yeah, I just think that gives them so much flexibility on the defense should they go and get their dude, because from all accounts, it seems like Adoree Jackson's out of here. He played well enough.
Sure. Yeah, he
But
played
he's
admirably.
gonna try and get one more contract, and I don't blame him.
No,
Um,
get your money, buddy. Yeah.
so if you go and draft, a future stud, you re-sign Reed, you re-sign Jalen,
Yeah.
and you maybe add another, youth. Maybe you add, kind of like what they did last year with Uche and Ojulari, where they added, dudes where they're like, all right, high upside. Let's see if there's anything there. So there's certainly potential for that. There are a lot of names out there that, even somebody that's a little bit older would be, worth it,
Mhm.
just given the fact that, you're just kind of taking a swing. So I wouldn't hate them for taking a few swings to add and fill the room. But that pretty much takes care of your defense, right?
Yeah.
So you're basically adding a corner, you're re-signing Reed, you have Makuba, there's your secondary,
Yep.
a good linebacker wise, whether or not you're able to, maybe the market for Dean isn't what he thought, and maybe he comes back on a 1 or 2 year, because I think the
Right.
importance of him leadership wise is, can't be overstated. I think him and those Georgia dogs are important. I think he kind of is the mouth of that dog. So, but yeah, then you can focus solely on the offense. Grab yourself in the second round a future tackle or that tight end. Maybe a wide receiver in the third. Branch from Georgia would be a guy I love.
Support for this show and the Fans First Sports Network comes from Strong Coffee Company. Elevate your coffee routine with Strong Coffee Company's Black Instant Blend and Lattes. Both feature organic coffee, protein, MCTs, and adaptogens for sustained energy and mental clarity. With quick delivery and exceptional taste, their coffee is a convenient option and a nutritious addition to your daily routine. Experience a healthier, most productive day with Strong Coffee Company. Visit strongcoffeecompany.com and receive 20% off at checkout using promo code FFSN. Again, strongcoffeecompany.com, FFSN.
They love their Georgia boys.
Yeah. So, again, with whatever is or might end up happening with AJ Brown, I still think, they're going to need to add somebody free agency wise. I don't think there's really anybody, um, to speak of that they would want to go after. I mean,
Right.
it's hard to, all these guys are like, ones or twos.
Yeah, nobody would slide into the slot.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the other thing, slot guys. But yeah, I don't know. You have some names that maybe, Zay Jones, Wandale Robinson, maybe you get a Keenan Allen the last of his career.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's plenty. Marquise Brown. Although I think he's more of like a 2, but anyway. And then if you fill in, with re-signing Fred, re-signing Toth, you have a bunch of young guys that you picked up last year that I know they want to see develop. There's your offensive line. They have a whole offseason to get healthy. You've added a little bit to the tight end room. You've added a little bit to the wide receiver room. You're getting rid of A.J. Dillon. You have Tank. You can keep Shipley, whatever,
Sure.
Sure. And then the other question is quarterback. Do they ship off Tanner McKee? Sam Howell's also a free agent. Wouldn't be the worst idea to re-sign him if you're going to trade away, Tanner. Maybe
Sure.
draft a late guy, a 6th-round guy. Unlike Jimmy Kempski, who put out a mock draft yesterday, I guess, where he took a tackle in the first, and then in the second he took a quarterback.
Clickbait.
So right, so basically, he thinks that the Eagles have the luxury of grabbing 2 players that aren't going to impact their team at all next year.
he knows they had a first round exit, right? And they have a small window.
Listen, draft stuff clearly isn't his forte. And that's all right. But yeah, it seems a little clickbait.
He should tune in here to our network.
He should. He absolutely should. So yeah, we're planning all that stuff now, and it's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be a lot of fun because draft stuff is the best. We
It
absolutely
really is.
Yeah. And don't forget, once again, we're going to do it like we have done every year, the last couple of years. Our draft guide we're going to be putting out. It's Shane, myself, David, even Dibes, and Mark Henry Jr. All of our big boards, all of our rankings, they'll have, once the information comes out, we'll be updating with, combine information, RAS scores, so you can see what we did the last couple of years to see how good or bad we were. And then, of course, we're going to be going live during the draft as we have the last couple of years, which has been so much fun. So stay tuned on that. But yeah, Eric, the Eagles have a lot of decisions to make. Their first being their offensive coordinator. Then hopefully Howie can work some magic, move some money around as he usually does, re-sign the right guys, add, the right pieces, and then get ready for the draft. Sounds like a plan to me, right?
Yeah, and look, there is actually very few things like in life that I would trust anybody more than I trust Howie Roseman to handle the cap.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Like I would
funny,
trust Howie to do my
everybody's
taxes.
yeah.
Do you think he'd be available for that?
All of a sudden you get $10,000 back. You're like, what the?
I know, right? He'd
Oh
just
my
find it
God.
somewhere and be like, here you go. Here, you got
Like, yeah,
$10,000.
I just deferred this to until you're 70. Sweet. Thanks,
Sweet.
Howie.
I ain't making it to 70.
Yeah,
Awesome.
exactly. Woo! Oh, it's good stuff. But we'll be back every week. Hopefully we'll have an OC to talk about next week. We'll go through each and every Eagle, discuss whether or not we want them to stay, want to go. Maybe we'll talk a little more draft stuff. But basically our draft stuff is going to kind of kick into gear once February hits.
Yeah, right around the combine.
Yeah. So I think that first week, whatever that. So not next week. If I had access to my calendar, here it is. So
Not next week, but the following week.
right. So I guess Tuesday, Birds of the Roundtable on the 3rd, and then our show on the 4th. And then
Which would be a nice little anniversary. February 4th.
yes. Sorry. Blacked out for that for a second. I was like,
That's okay.
I was thinking more us. And I was like, well, no, we're in March. Our anniversary is in March for podcasting, by the way.
Right.
And nothing weird or anything.
Not gay. So not there's anything wrong with that, but not us.
Anyway, on that note, we should get out of here.
Yeah, I certainly. If there's somebody who's like, "Hey, man, maybe we should exit about a minute or two earlier than what we did," I'm that guy who says it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we apologize to our Facebook and Twitter watchers and listeners. It seems like we're just every other week there's a new issue with the socials. So hopefully we'll get that fixed for next week. That way you guys can watch there. But if not, that's okay. We love YouTube. YouTube's always going strong. Please make sure you're following. Please make sure you're telling your friends all about the Eagles Pinpull Network. Give it a share out to your buddies. Let them subscribe as well, because that helps us kind of get our stuff out to the masses here. If for whatever reason you can't catch us live, you can always watch YouTube, Facebook when it's working, Twitter when it's working, and Twitch when it's working, or wherever you podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple. While you're there listening to one of the many shows that we have on this network, not just ours. I mean, please stay, come for us. Stay for the plethora of different types of Eagles shows. You'd probably think, nah, there can't be that much difference. But yes, there can. Yes, there can. So,
we're the two dudes in the bar. We've got some stats and numbers gurus that'll blow your mind.
Absolutely. So while you're there in Spotify or Apple or Google or whatever, 5-star ratings would be fantastic. Throw a little comment, say, hey, that Ryan guy, he's all right with me. Or Man,
That Eric guy.
man,
Whew.
Eric, I have questions.
Look, man, you ain't alone. There's lots of people who got questions.
All right, folks. Well, thank you all so much for joining us for a quick episode of the Football Smack Talk Show. Eric, you got anything to add before we get on out of here?
Nah.
All right. Gotta love it. Keeping that streak alive. Thank you all so much for joining us here at the Football Smack Talk Show. Please make sure you like, follow, share, comment, whatever the buttons tell you, just do it.
Should always blindly follow.
Yeah, let your friends and family know that we're out here doing the birds work. We'll see you guys next week. Everybody stay safe. This weekend, we're apparently supposed to get 70 of snow.
Which, I mean, maybe that's the Lord's way of saying that's why we didn't get an NFC title game at home this week.
Maybe because I would have been miserable.
But I'd have been there. I'd have found a way. 100% I'd have found a way. I'd be out there shoveling 76 as we drove down. I don't even care,
You just
man.
have to shovel out.
Yeah. It's like I shoveled 3 feet, you move up 3 feet, shovel another 3 feet. And we'll just, hell, we would have started on Saturday if we needed to. We'd have gotten down there.
Absolutely. So, all right, y'all. Have yourself a great weekend. Be safe, be warm. Don't go outside. It's just snow. Not worth
F
it.
outside.
So,
Outside bad.
Yeah. Have a great week. We will see you guys next week on the Football Smack Talk Show. For Ryan.
Merrick. Go Birds, everybody. Happy football.
Righty. Lionel.